It was like doing family therapy every day in front of a crew of 50 people. Flag Day is based on the book Flim Flam Man by Jennifer Vogel. It's really a story about, it's really a love story between a father and a daughter, and Jennifer trying to navigate her way through the trauma of her early adult life and come out the other end with forgiveness. He came and went from our lives. He always made me feel like part of a bigger world.
I'll be on the riches. Ready? Go!
I read the book when I was 15. She felt familiar to me. I don't know if it was just because of the complicated dynamic relationship between her and her father, but I also felt like, I hadn't really lived my life yet. I was pretty sheltered, and so coming back to the book at almost 30 was a very different, my reaction was very different. I did meet Jennifer. Yeah, we met, I guess it was 3 weeks before we started filming. We had talked on the phone many times, and my dad had been around her a lot, and she also worked on the script, so she was always around, but finally getting to meet her in person was a huge advantage, and I think we sat for 5 hours, and she allowed me to ask her any question, and was so open and vulnerable, and in the end of that conversation, she said that she was not looking for anyone to mimic her. She just wanted her story to be told, and that was just a huge freedom, weight lifted off me to hear that. Dad, what do you do?
Trouble can you find you?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so my dad as a director is way more collaborative than I ever expected. He also allows a lot of freedom to play and kind of use the script as a guide rather than just by the book, and I think that just made set really a lot of fun, and because this is such an emotional story, that was really needed, and to feel that support to kind of do whatever felt right. And then as a scene partner, I was so nervous because originally this film was going to be another actor and me and my dad just directing. And last minute, this actor had to pull out, so my dad, out of necessity, had to take on the role. So we had our first scene together, I think 2 weeks into production. We'd rehearsed it a couple times, but very loosely, and as soon as the camera started rolling, I felt so at ease, and so he just gives a lot as an actor, so to feel that energy and to feel so connected with someone in a scene was so incredible. I think it's the most connected I've ever felt. Obviously he's my father, so that helps, but it was like doing family therapy every day in front of a crew of 50 people. In whatever you choose to endeavor, I will support you forever and ever. So when I was younger, he said that by page 30, he saw my face and he couldn't really get that out of his head. It's funny to think that I was almost gonna play young Jennifer. But now after playing, 17 to almost 30, and being able to use my own life experiences, I think it brings so much more to this part. We're very similar. I think we both are alpha, have pretty big egos, are hard-headed, but also behind that extremely sensitive and vulnerable, and always looking for someone to break down that wall. And I think Jennifer had that with her dad.
I think the greatest hope a man can have is he leaves something beautiful behind. Something he made.
There's a big theme, at least for me, of your identity and trying to separate from your parents or your past, and then eventually coming to this knowing that that past and your family is a part of your identity. I hope the takeaway is that forgiveness is the biggest thing that'll set you free.